You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.
Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to another podcast of All Things Sports. I'm your host, Mike Davis. Welcome to podcast number 26. Today is, what is today's date? June 4th, Thursday. Show should have gotten out yesterday, but, all things considering with everything going on, haven't really been in a podcast mood, but, unfortunately, life still goes on, and, all the protests and the riots going on, and remembering some of the black people who have been gunned down by police just because, you have some people with a badge who feel like that, they're above the law. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy past week and a half, with the George Floyd situation. Not just George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. And I didn't want to go into this podcast like the last podcast. The last podcast, I didn't get to any sports. I had so many emotions that I had to get out about all the protests and riots going on around the country. You see it going on everywhere. And it seems, like with this podcast, I have to touch on some things. And normally when I come into a podcast, I take notes of the stories I want to talk about, but I had nowhere in my notes Drew Brees. So for my all things Atlanta topic today, I'm just going to keep it about my man George Floyd, and the Drew Brees situation. Brees said that he's not going to respect anybody who takes a knee during the anthem, saying how his grandfather, who he highly respects, fought in World War II, but someone needs to tell Brees that there were black men that also fought in World War II, not just your grandfather and white men. Drew Brees is just, I don't even think he's misinformed. You have people like Drew Brees who just, they don't want to get it. It is what it is. Drew Brees, to me, showed his true colors. He showed the kind of man he is, what he's about. When Colin Kaepernick, when he was taking a knee, to protest peacefully about police brutality and abusing their power, it's like people didn't understand where he was coming from. And it was peaceful. It was a peaceful demonstration. And that's one of the reasons why I don't mind the looting going on. And I know some people's businesses have burned down. Look, I'm sorry about that. But as I stated in the last podcast, you got to get uncomfortable to be comfortable. I'm not saying it's right. It's like what Bernie Mac used to say. I'm not condoning. I'm not saying it's right, but I understand. People protested peacefully, got nowhere. People burned down buildings and police precincts in Minnesota. Oh, now you want to listen. And Drew Brees is This is a guy who plays a position in the NFL at quarterback where your mind is processing so much in 3 seconds. So you're not going to tell me this man doesn't know what's going on in the world today. And he knows. This is a man who's stuck in his ways. And I honestly believe that if he might want to rethink about coming back this season, he might want to just go ahead and go into retirement. That is going to be an unpleasant locker room with Michael Thomas, Malcolm Jenkins. It's going to be unpleasant in that locker room with Drew Brees because now you have other men that see you for who you are, and you don't really value them. What you said, basically, because you're still talking about a flag. No one's talking about a flag today at all. Who was talking about a flag? No one said anything about a flag, but one Mr. Drew Brees, that's where he went. And I won't say that's where he went. I heard today in the interview that he was asked about the kneeling with the flag situation. It wasn't just about the whole George Floyd demonstrations going on around the United States. So I don't want to put misinformation out there. I heard that he was asked a specific question about the kneeling, but still, the fact that you don't get it, it just means that you don't want to get it. So move on. If I was a teammate of his, I don't know. Well, I know how I would feel. I don't know if I don't want to play with him. I'm just saying. I'm good enough for you to throw passes to and to hand the rock off to me in the backfield. But yet you don't want to acknowledge that there are racist people out here that don't see me as an equal. And you're okay with that. As long as I'm scoring touchdowns for you, you're fine with that. That's pretty much what you said. I don't want to ramble on into it and stay on it, but it's out there that, Brees said that he doesn't respect pretty much anybody who is taking a knee during the national anthem. And he's just one of many that don't understand that anthem doesn't mean the same to black people, my people, as it does to white people. They had black people fighting in World War II. They still had to come back home and had to deal with, they were oppressed. We didn't have the same civil rights as our white counterparts. But somehow Drew Brees is, he respects the hell out of his grandfather, and and I get that part, respecting your grandfather. I get that, but I need you to see the human side of this thing. So have some common decency. That's all I'm saying. But Drew Brees just not getting it, and as people in New Orleans, they're burning his jerseys up, and with me being a fan of the Falcons, you see that, well, if you had went online today, you would have seen that there were Saints fans actually praising Matt Ryan. It's first. Don't normally get that with New Orleans fans, but that is where we're at. I want to say send my condolences out to the George Floyd and his family. I saw his brothers talking on CNN, and that's a difficult situation to deal with. Minnesota showed up and showed out. I didn't know Minnesota had that kind of fight in them. It was almost like they were leading the way. almost like Minnesota was leading the way for the rest of society, and we followed behind them. So I think the riots are starting to die down. I still see people. I'm sorry, tongue twister. I still see people protesting, but I think the rioting side is slowing down now. This will have made a full week tonight. I believe people started rioting in Minnesota last Thursday. And it's everywhere, all 50 states. People are protesting. It's a beautiful thing to see. Beautiful thing to see. So yeah, and there was a coach who was the Denver Broncos. Some type of I don't know if he was the head coach or one of the assistant coaches, saying that he doesn't see the systematic racism taking place in the NFL, as in the regular world. And I'm not going to touch on that today, but I'm going to touch on that in my next podcast. But dude is out of his mind, especially the NFL. Really? Is that where he wants to go? Because the first name that comes to my mind is Warren Moon, as far as playing. You don't have many GMs and presidents that are black in the NFL. You don't have many black head coaches in a league that is predominantly black. Just want to let that sink in. Yeah. Let that sink in. All right. Well, that is going to do it for the first segment of the podcast. I just wanted to touch on the whole George Floyd situation and Drew Brees showing who he really is, taking the mask off. I'm going to take a break right here. Don't go nowhere. You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis. All right, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis. Glad you can join me. Let's move into the second segment of the show. Let's get into some NBA talk. The NBA apparently is coming back very soon. The NBA, they have approved a plan for a 22-team return with 8 regular season games. Now, the plan includes 13 Western Conference teams and 9 Eastern Conference teams. I already don't like this. I already don't like where this is going. Okay. All right, so 8 regular season games, a possible play-in tournament for the 8th seed for the playoffs, and the top 16 teams in the East and Western Conference will be joined by teams currently within 6 games of 8th place in the 2 conferences. So those teams are New Orleans, Portland, San Antonio, Sacramento, Phoenix, and Washington. Now, the play-in tournament will include the number 8 and number 9 teams if the 9th seed finishes the regular season within 4 games of the 8th seed. In that case, the number 8 seed enters a double elimination tournament and the number 9 seed a single elimination tournament. Off top, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I truly believe that they should have just put the top 16 teams in. 8 in the West, 8 in the East. We're late. We are in June. So the NBA Finals should have been over by now. So they're saying that the season is gonna crank back up in Orlando next month in July. It's gonna run until October. So what I'm assuming is the regular season will begin next year in December. So I don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. Because now what's going to happen is, because right now there's going to be no baseball because, you have millionaires and billionaires arguing over money. So take them out of the equation. But football season is going to crank up in August. So the regular season gets rolling in September. So for those 2 months in September and October, you're going to have the NBA going up against the NFL. The NFL is Goliath. I don't see the NBA being able to compete with the NFL. I mean, I guess as long as there's no games on Sunday, Monday, and Thursday, but then you got college football as well on Saturday. It's a big mess. I truly believe what they should have done. I kind of agree with Shaq. Scrap the season. Just scrap it. If you weren't going to just go straight to the playoffs, scrap the season. Because if you went straight to the playoffs, you could have had this thing done by September. Get it cranking in July, you could have the playoffs done by September. At least the end of September. You could have been crowning an NBA champion. Then you could have given the players a month off, come back for training camp in November, kick off the season toward the end of November or early December. However they want to do it. It looks like they're going to kick it off around Christmas time this year. I don't see no other way to cram those 82 games in from December through April. You're not going to cram 82 games in from January to April in 4 months. You're just not going to do it. Players aren't going to go for it. So I don't like this this style of playoff the NBA is what they're saying that we're going to get. I don't like it at all. But there's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is. I agree with Shaq in this point. This year, there's you're going to put an asterisk by the champion's name. Everything has been thrown off because of the COVID-19 virus. Guys are, they got to get back in that basketball playing shape. Some guys are probably already ready for the summer. And I thought they should have brought the Hawks back. Not because, who cares about the Hawks? I'm a big Atlanta fan. Everyone knows that. I'm Atlanta everything. But only because this is Vince Carter's last season. I hate Vince went out the way he did. Because of the situation. All the leagues pretty much shutting down because everyone was afraid of the COVID-19 virus, as they should be. We knew nothing about it, honestly. And, Rudy Gobert had came down with it and pretty much just halted the NBA season in its tracks. But I would love to see Vince Carter, play one more time, get the recognition that he deserves for his long and Hall of Fame career. So, speaking of Hall of Fame, I wanted to touch on this. I've been debating this, going back and forth, having mixed emotions, and that is your man, Big Ben Wallace from the Detroit Pistons. So, my question is Ben Wallace a Hall of Famer? I've been wrestling with this and going back and forth with this. I've been asking different people. I've asked my brothers. I've asked friends. People. I asked on the social media sites. I had one guy tell me yes, no doubt, Ben Wallace is a Hall of Famer. My brother said Ben Wallace is a Hall of Famer. And let's just run down the list of his accomplishments. He's an NBA champion, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, 4-time All-Star, 5-time All-Defense First Team. His stat line, I didn't add his assists. It wouldn't have made any difference anyway. His stat line is not going to blow you away because Ben Wallace, his game wasn't predicated on numbers. But he put up 5 points a game, 9 boards, 2 blocks. That's the stat line. So my thing is, you got to at least get 10 boards a game. Give me 10 boards a game, man. Because here's my thing. I went and looked at where Ben Wallace is ranked number-wise. And then I looked at some other players, too. Especially guys that people are saying shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. So he's 13th in total blocks in career blocks, 2,137 blocks. Kudos, great. He did his job. He did what I expect the center to do. Not mad at that. 33rd in total rebounds. 10,482 total rebounds for his career, coming in at 33rd on the list. You want to know who's around him when I throw those numbers out? Tyson Chandler. I'm just going to say this. Would you put Tyson Chandler in the Hall of Fame? I'm going to tell you a guy who people are saying shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but he's ahead of him, and he's ahead of some Hall of Famers. Guys are already in there. Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard has better numbers than Ben Wallace. But people are saying Dwight Howard is not a Hall of Famer. I've heard people say this. I've heard people, you've heard like, I'm getting excited. Oh, wow. I guarantee you, off the eye test, if you talk to NBA players who are playing now, they will tell you Dwight Howard is not a Hall of Famer. But Dwight Howard has better numbers, career numbers, than Ben Wallace. But I have everybody telling me that Ben Wallace is a Hall of Famer. I am saying no, Ben Wallace is not a Hall of Famer. Great player, great center. He held his position down. He did what he needed to do. Ben Wallace, unfortunately, is not a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry, it is what it is. The problem that I have with Ben Wallace is consistency. He got off to a slow start in his career. He played 4 years between Washington and Orlando. After that fourth season, he was traded to Detroit, where he played 6 years in Detroit. That's the middle part of his career. You have 3 parts of your career, the beginning, the middle, the end. So Detroit is where he pretty much did all his damage. You know, the NBA championship, the defensive player of the year, the all-stars, the all-defensive teams. And then the final 4 years of his career, it was, it went straight downhill. Straight downhill. Straight downhill. So, first part of Ben Wallace's career. No, I got that wrong. First part of his career. Second part of his career in Detroit. Last part of his career in Chicago, Cleveland, Phoenix, and then back to Detroit. Yeah, a lot of people don't know he went back to Cleveland. Went back to Detroit. Those are the last 4 years. Chicago, Cleveland, Phoenix bought him out, and then he ended up going back to Detroit. It's consistency. Ben Wallace was never consistent except for his Detroit years. I can't put you in the Hall of Fame because you had just those 6 good years. It's like Terrell Davis in the NFL. I hate that he's in the Hall of Fame. I can't stand it. And the thing that bothers me with the NFL, they throw anybody in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's almost getting to that point with basketball where they're just throwing guys in. I need them to be on the tough side like Major League Baseball. The Pro Baseball Hall of Fame. But Ben Wallace is not a Hall of Famer. He was too inconsistent. The bulk of his best years came in the middle part of his years. Chicago thought they were getting a steal with the center. And he was, I think he went to the playoffs once with Chicago. Remember, Ben Wallace was a part of the trade that sent Grant Hill down to Orlando and Big Ben Wallace up to Detroit. That's how they got him. It was a sign and trade with Grant Hill. Grant, after blowing his ankle up, he was ready to get out of town, get out of Detroit. I don't think he really trusted the Pistons with his body, everything that had took place. he has signed a sign and trade deal with Orlando, which Ben Wallace was a part of that package, which sent him from the Magic to the Pistons, and Grant Hill teamed up with T-Mac. It was pretty much T-Mac by himself, his lonesome, no help. But Ben Wallace is a no-go. I can't put a guy in the Hall of Fame who has Draymond Green numbers. I just can't. I mean, I'm looking at it. 5 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks a game. And like I said, Ben Wallace was a beast. I mean, the man did his thing. There's no doubt about it. You know, man did his thing. But Hall of Famer, no. No Hall of Fame for Ben Wallace, in my opinion. All right, so I'm going to keep it basketball here. I meant to bring this up on the last podcast, but, because of the whole, my man George Floyd, RIP to him, the whole situation dealing with that. I really didn't talk sports in the last podcast. I didn't talk sports at all. But keeping it basketball here. The legendary head coach, Eddie Sutton, has passed away. Now, Eddie Sutton, he won 800 games and was the first coach to take 4 different schools to the NCAA men's basketball tournament. He died of natural causes. His family said in the statement he was 84 years old. Sutton coached basketball for 50 years at 6 different colleges and 1 high school, but he is best known for his successful run at his alma mater, Oklahoma State. R.I.P. Eddie Sutton, one of the best to do it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to pile on somebody who's, not here with us anymore. Didn't he get into some trouble at a school one time? A kid was getting paid, or somebody had paid him, and like the money fell out somewhere. And I'm not talking about T. Martin down in Tennessee with the whole FedEx thing. I can't remember. I'm sure Eddie Sutton was a part of some scandal where a kid was getting paid. Somebody gave the kid some money or something. I can't think of it. It slipped. I'm gonna have to look that up. I remember that was a big thing that had happened. I'm not sure when it happened or what school he was coaching at, but I'm almost positive there was a kid who got impermissible benefits, and that didn't end great at that school. But R.I.P. to Eddie Sutton, one of the best to ever do it. I want to turn this thing to the football side of things. So this is kind of old news, but I haven't talked about it. Joe Flacco signing with the New York Jets. Now, he recently said that he is embracing his role as Sam Darnold's backup. But the former Super Bowl MVP indicated that his goal is to return to a starting role. He said, "You never know what 3 years down the line is going to look like. So I have the confidence. I still have the desire to do that. But at this moment, that's not my role. My role is to help the team get better and to help a young quarterback see things as clearly as possible and to help him with his journey to be a long-time NFL quarterback." I like that. I really do like that. Give that man an applause. My man Joe Flacco coming through. Great signing by the Jets. I'm glad they got a respectable backup quarterback. You see a lot of teams get guys that you're like, what the hell is this? Once the starting quarterback goes down, that is it. Season is over. There's a lot of teams like that. My Falcons being one of them. Matt Ryan goes down, season is done. We're out of luck. Nothing happening, nothing going on. So, shout out to the Jets. I think that's a great move by them. I don't know what the rest of their roster looks like. They've looked like doo-doo the past couple of seasons. They really haven't done much since the Sanchez butt fumble. When Rex Ryan took them to back-to-back AFC championship appearances. New York Jets really haven't done much. I like Sam Darnold, though. I I've heard people they're not real high up on him, but I like Darnold. Just look at last year. The Jets were 0-6 when he doesn't play. They're 0-6 when Darnold doesn't play. So Darnold gives them the best chance to win. Now you got Flacco as a backup. I love the fact that Flacco is embracing it. Look, it doesn't mean this is forever. I started before I had a great career. I went to a Super Bowl. I won. I was a Super Bowl MVP. I love that attitude that he has. I need for my man Cam Newton to have that same attitude. It seemed like he was just all but hurt and pissed because the Panthers let him go. At the end of the day, it's a business. And, you know, remember, Cam said he wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't going to start. Well, Cam, you're not starting this year anywhere. I thought that you or Jameis could have went to Pittsburgh and could have learned under Ben Roethlisberger because the guy is hurt every season. You're going to play in Pittsburgh if you go up there. I would have went to Pittsburgh. You want playing time? Go to Pittsburgh. You can be a winner and you can learn. I think Mike Tomlin is one of the most underrated head coaches. Did an amazing job last season with nothing. With Mason Rudolph at QB, Mike Tomlin did some of the best coaching in the NFL last season. All right, so I'm going to go into the last thing I want to talk about on the show. So, recently, did you all see Ayesha Curry maybe about a week or two ago putting out these sexy pictures of herself? She went from awesome housewife who cooked for a man and, you know, provided for her children and all that good stuff to now she wants guys in her DMs. I have some thoughts on that. You know, me, it's weird because I'm in a relationship, but I try and follow the red pill a little bit. For those of you that don't know what the red pill is, you can go on to YouTube or whatever, and you can look it up, and I'm not going to get all into it, but there's some things that I even wish I had knew before I had gotten into the relationship I'm in now. But I find it odd that women can't get enough attention. Now, she has a man like Steph Curry, and you know she still wants the attention from Lil Rico and the Brads and whatever. Look at Larsa Pippen. Look at Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. She had Scottie Pippen as a husband, and she still needed the attention. All the attention in the world. She has money. She has a husband. She has kids. She has the whole nine. The picket fence and the big backyard and the dog, everything. But she still needed validation. She still had to go and cheat on Scottie Pippen with the likes of a Future. Nothing against Future. That's my guy. But you know what Future says about some of these women out here? You know, some of them belong to the streets. Okay? Oh, man. It seems like Ayesha Curry wants validation, and she wants validation through her DMs. Not just her, but you have a lot of women that are like that, and they want the excitement. You know, and their excitement is drama. Women excitement is drama. They don't like the whole boring life. You know, bake some cookies for the family, sitting around the fire. You know, singing family songs and watching TV as a family, playing board games. Women don't want that in 2020. You know, I mean, you might have that unicorn, that you know, that one, you know, that good luck finding it, you know. You know, but they want that excitement, and the excitement is drama. And, you know, most men, when we come home, we want peace. We want everybody to pretty much just shut up, feed me dinner, turn on whatever sport is on, and leave me alone, woman. Like Al Bundy, just leave me. Let me sit here on the sofa. I had a hard day. I worked. You know, I'll talk to you in a minute. But women love attention. Aisha Curry is no different. I actually feel sorry for stuff. I'm sure Steph Curry comes off like he's a laid back guy, and he wants peace like majority of us men. But unfortunately, my man has a lady who wants validation through her DMs, through the likes of Lil Rico and them, Lil Rico and the Brads, Lil Daryl. It's crazy. It's like that. As a man, I'm starting to learn this too. And as a man, you're not going to make a woman happy. You're just not. You're not going to make a woman happy. A woman is happy when people are pretty much objectifying her. I know people are going to say, what? And listen, women are happy when guys are in their DMs. That's when they're happy. They say they don't like it, they don't want it, but they want it. They secretly want it. That doesn't mean, I'm not saying they're going to act on it, but they want the attention. They want DNA. They want DNA. And that's blank and attention. You can figure out what the D is. I think you figured it out. And look, I'm only talking about this because I look at this podcast as a male space. This is where we can come talk sports, and we can touch on some of the latest topics as far as some of these women go. Have a stogie, some whiskey while you're sitting back and listening to the podcast. And me myself, I love a good cigar. I just bought some cigars today. Well, actually, I had some come in. Brickhouse Connecticut cigars, and I ordered. What did I order? I ordered some other type of cigar. I ordered, but anyway, though, this is a male space. This is, now women, you're more than welcome to come on in and give your opinion and whatnot. And I don't want to turn this into one of those red pill, shows where this is a sports podcast, but just a little sprinkle of what men have to deal with the ladies. All right. Hey, look, that's all I got for you guys today. I thank you for tuning in, including my podcast into your day. If you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, I thank you. If you're listening to it on YouTube, I thank you as well. Go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff with the channel. New podcast will air every Wednesday and Saturday, even though it's Thursday when I'm doing this podcast. I'm a day late. Look, don't hate me, okay? Don't hate me. But thank you for checking me out. You've been listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis. And remember, it's your world. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm out. Peace.
You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.